What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hey, it's a beautiful day here in Iowa on a March evening, week before Easter, and I am getting ready to head to one of my absolute favorite places in the country to trout fish, Montauk State Park. It's kind of situated somewhere between Salem and Licking, Missouri. It's the headwaters of the Current River, one of the state of Missouri's 4 trout parks. Merrimack, Roaring River, and Bennett Springs, and then Montauk. I've been going there since I was about 4, and I am in a number of Facebook groups for people that love Montauk. And one of the continuous questions I see is, how do I fish it? I've never been there, or I want to try fly fishing, or just a lot of people that they want to try it, they don't know how, and it's really not difficult. It takes some patience, but you can catch fish. It's a good place to take a kid to get them excited about the sport. I know I took my daughters for the first time ever last year, and my then 10-year-old killed it. In fact, she was catching fish on her fly rod, which was absolutely awesome to see. So I'm going to do this video. It's probably going to be a 2 or 3 part video. I'm going to start, like I said, I'm just getting ready to start packing up. I've got some of my stuff out. I'm going to start by showing you some of my gear. Some of the bait, some of the other tackle and things that I use. And then I'm probably going to break it up. I'm going to take all my footage over my trip, and I'm going to break it up, show you my campsite, talk about the 3 main areas of the park, being the fly zone, the bait zone, as we call it, and then the catch and release area. All areas that are good for fishing. Yeah, it's just a great place. I've hesitated to do this video because I want to make sure I do it right. Because Montauk does mean a lot to me. The lodge, there's a lot of great employees down there that I've known since I was little. And they're just good people. It's a great place, and hopefully I do it right in this video. So stick with me, and we'll get back to you with some of the equipment I use. Thanks. All right, guys, here we go. So for the longest time, I fished this guy. It is a 4-foot 9-inch Fenwick HMG. Super ultralight, super flimsy, super active, and just an all-around pretty good rod. When I have fished this, I got this guy. I picked this guy up 13, 14 years ago at a little mom and pop shop down in Arkansas. It is a Tika Cetus SS 500. Just a little rod. I think I've actually used it for ice fishing as well. Good action. You can beat the tar out of this thing. And if for you guys out there that have torn rods or reels apart, it's super easy to get in with the little springs and the screws and get them cleaned up, and most times they'll bounce back pretty good. But good little reel. I still love this rod. But my new one that I got last year, I'm gonna have a hard time putting it down. So this is the St. Croix Panfish Edition, PNS 50 ULM. It's a 5-foot super. They call it a moderate action. It's got some whip to it, guys. Super nice. Has a really good feel. It's got a little extra support at the bottom of your handle. With this, I have this limited edition Okama rod or reel that I got. This is it's called a Kmar, and I believe it's a 500M. Very nice. It comes in a matte green finish. I don't know how many exactly ball bearings it has, but it's a nice reel. It looks good. It feels good. Um, all around, like I said, a good reel. When I'm fishing bait, guys, I stick to the clear 4 pound line. Um, I know some of my buddies do braided. I don't like the braided lines for trout fishing. Um, you can go to a 2 pound line. Like I said, I fish clear. I know some guys live and die by green, um, but I have 2 and 4 pound mainly clear line on my rods or on my setups. When it comes to hooks, you can use treble hooks. I know the guys that I know that use trebles, they'll use 12s are about as big as you get. They'll go to 14s and 16s. I use 10s and 12 single hooks, sometimes barbless. Um, but those, in my opinion, if you're going to be catching and releasing, if you're going to be putting fish back or being picky about their size, the singles are the best, easiest to get out and not cause a lot of harm to the fish. When I'm using bait, um, outside of, we've used it all, chicken, liver, leeches, shrimp. We've used tenderloin steak, minnows, the sculpin that you'll catch. Those are really good for catching big browns. But when I'm using store bought, Berkeley Power Bait, guys, is one of your best bets, especially if it's one of your first times to Montauk. You're going to take a little chunk out, and I mean, you can go anywhere between a dime size, maybe a little bit bigger, enough to cover the hook. They come in all kinds of sizes with glitter, or all kinds of colors with glitter and swirls, and I just use the basic colors. The guys will tell you that know me, I refuse to use glitter because it just gets everywhere. Um, your garlic colors, your white. There's a yellow cheese. It's a peaches salmon egg. One of the biggest fish I've ever caught, I caught on chartreuse. They all work, but I've had better luck. Most of my good luck on garlic, white, 3 or 4 of the main colors. I also, and I'm gonna Potski, I believe it's called. They're salmon eggs. I know they come in many colors, um, and I've seen that they've actually got a pretty good Facebook or YouTube page as well. But they work really well. I usually on a single hook I'll throw 3 on, and you'll get, I don't know, 7, 8 casts out of it before you got to switch. But they work really well, and you'll find pockets where these will absolutely just hammer fish, but then they won't work in other spots. So it's just casting and getting used to where you're at and what works where. Um, Another thing that I use locally that's made down in Montauk, and it's been around forever, is Lucky Lady worms, man. If you go into the lodge, if you go into Reed's cabin, I would say they're probably 2.5 inches long. They're going to be a yellow, I believe, yellow little label, and then they'll be in a plastic bag. They come in all shapes and colors and combinations. You can slink them on like an earthworm, where you feed the hook down and then pull it out the belly. I know a lot of people will hook them in the middle and then jig them. They work really well. As you can see, I've got a few. And I always try to, one of the things I'll do before I leave for the year is I'll pick up 20 or 30 bucks worth of them, and I'll open them up and leave them out on a table in my shop or something, to where they get a little bit more rubbery and not as greasy. Just a little trick that I like to do. Other stuff, nets. I started using these nets. I think they call them a gel net. I like the black nets, but they're really bad about getting snagged with your hook. These are really easy to get out. Oh, what else? With power bait, I highly recommend you have some type of a rag or something on you to wipe your hands because that can get pretty messy. When it comes to tackle, um, these guys are really nice. I don't know why you shake them because it never actually works. But these guys are super nice. Aaron at Reliably Random Outdoors got me turned on to these down at the White River. They're super fun, have real good action, and I've had some luck on them. They're kind of like a weighted, a little bit more of a weighted rooster tail, kind of mixed with a jig. Um, Super Dupers. Super Dupers are also another one that are really fun to use. Um, they really, if the trout are active, they'll go bonkers over it. Um, Another one. Sorry guys, I've got all my stuff strung out all over here. Um, this is a jig that. So I'll make a long story short here, but Aaron, my buddy that I talk about probably too much because he's annoying. He got introduced to a guy who makes these. It's called a D2 jig. The story on these was the guy that makes them got the jig mold, and it was a faulty jig mold. And his family started making them, and they found out that it's actually probably better than the jig mold that was used instead of the one that they got. And I mean, I've had really good luck with them. I have multiple 1/8 inch, 16 or 1/8 ounce, 16th ounce, um, good jigs. Check them out. I know they've got a face or a website where you can buy them, and I know it's pretty easy to navigate. They've got, I think they set them up by color, and then you can go in and pick which size you want and that kind of stuff. But so that's a lot of what I use when it comes to bait fishing or spinner fishing. When it comes to fly fishing, I'm just going to kind of go over what I like most. I have a St. Croix. It's an Avid, and it is a 3-weight. It's a 7-foot 9-inch rod. I got this from my stepdad 5 or 6 years ago after using his and how much I liked it. It's got real good action. I've gotten to really be fairly good at my roll cast and just placing my flies where I like them. And just a couple years ago, I picked up this Lamson liquid. It's real nice, real. It doesn't have a drag on it. You have to do that with your finger, which took some getting used to, but once I did get it, it's actually, I like it a lot nicer than I did my last reel. I have a weight forward floating line on it, and then I typically use 5X leaders, tapered leaders, 9 foot. Guys, I can't say this enough. You're gonna pay for a package of like 2 of these. You're gonna pay like, I don't even know what they are anymore, but they're expensive. And I jump on Amazon and I get these sunshine fishing leaders. I got 2 packs of 6, and I think they were $5 a piece. So again, check it out on Amazon. They're good. It's a good deal, and I'll tell you, I fished them for 2 or 3 summers now, and I've not had any issues with them. So when it comes to fly fishing, guys, I do a little bit of everything. I like fishing with scuds, woolly boogers, cracklebacks, and like a mayfly or a parachute are probably my favorite top waters. But the woolies and the scuds I really like just because it kind of goes back to the bait fishing. But and I know in Montauk specifically, white and John Deere colors, if you go right above the waterfall, which again we'll talk about later, you're going to hammer fish. Mostly in the evening and early mornings, but you'll catch fish up there right above the waterfall, um, on those white scuds, parachutes, things like that. But so that's kind of a basic rundown. I mean, I have my waders, I have my my vest, and then I usually have a pair of hemostats. Hemostats are these. Um, you can get them at most any bait and tackle store anymore. My dad's a physician, and so he could always get them, and we were using them a lot probably before they started selling them as much as they do now. But hang tight with me, guys. I'm going to try to get this video out before I leave. Like I said, I'm super excited to introduce you guys to Montauk, answer any questions you guys have. Yeah, I mean, if you guys, once I get this video up, let me know, ask questions. If I don't know, I'm sure somebody out there will. So tight lines, guys, and we'll talk to you soon.